Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day. And today, the Houston Astros have signed Glenn Otto, pitcher from the Texas Rangers, to a minor league contract. And I love this signing for the Astros. And the reason I love this signing is because I've been seeing Astros Twitter or Astros X, whatever you want to talk about it, whatever you want to call it, talking about this. But this signing that the Astros made, and when seeing Astros Twitter, talking about it. A lot of the Astros fans I've seen, and I definitely think this could happen. We'll see what happens, though. I've been seeing that the Astros potentially are making this move to bring Glenn Otto in, which he's not a very good pitcher. And the reason I like this signing, it's not about Glenn Otto. It's about someone else, and that's Forrest Whitley. If you do not know, Forrest Whitley's been killing it in the minor leagues recently. This is the guy that was the top prospect for the Astros. Was a first-round pick for the Astros, and absolutely it's been disappointing. Has been riddled with injuries, absolutely terrible injuries that have, kept him from making his major league debut. Until earlier this year, he was actually able to make his major league debut, but only pitched one inning, and they got sent right back down to AAA, and then had some injuries, and then he comes back healthy, and he's been dominant in AAA this year. He has not given up an earned run since June. He's been killing it. This year in AAA, a 1.95 ERA, absolutely killing it. And I've been seeing some Astros fans saying that Glenn Otto could be the Forrest Whitley replacement if the Astros finally decide to promote Forrest Whitley. And I don't think that we can seriously call when Forrest Whitley pitched one inning, which was in April against the Atlanta Braves, a promotion. That was one outing. We're talking about him coming to the Astros and being a part of the bullpen full-time. I'm not saying they should make this guy a starter. I think that's what we all hope for. I remember in 2019, I was in 6th or 7th grade, and I, had a friend in my science class who was a big Astros fan, and I didn't really have a lot of friends in my school that were baseball fans. I had friends in my school that watched basketball, watched football, talked to them about that stuff, but this was really the only friend I had, at least in the earlier years of middle school, that was actually a fan of baseball and the Astros. So me and him, one day in science, we weren't doing anything. We just started talking about the Astros. This was before the season started. This was actually 2020. This was when I said 2019, the 2019-20 school year, and 2020. This was right before that 2020 season got canceled. I remember at this time in 2020, the Astros spring training had already started, and then eventually in spring training, everything got canceled because of the pandemic. And then the Astros really didn't start their season. I believe that 2020 season didn't really start things until August. And I remember in that 2020 season, going into that 2020 season that I thought would be starting in April, but then all hell broke loose and didn't start till July or August. I was talking about, hey, maybe we're going to see Forrest Whitley become a starter. I thought he was going to become a starter for the Astros in 2020, which eventually he didn't. And I and a bunch of other Astros fans had hope for him to become a starter. I think he was, he had a chance to potentially fight for a starting job that year. And then injuries just continued to stack up for him after that, and it got worse and worse and worse for him. And now he's finally killing it. But he can really be a good bullpen role for this Astros team. And I'd love to see Forrest Whitley on this Astros team. But, if Forrest Whitley's going to get promoted, which with the way he's pitching AAA right now, and him being such a high prospect, if you don't promote him now, I don't know what's the point of ever promoting him with the way he's been pitching. So if you're going to promote him, you got to find a way, because you still want the AAA team to be good. You got to find a way to replace, the void that, you're going to miss when Forrest Whitley is gone from the team. This is a guy who hasn't given up a earned run since June. It is August. So you would think for the Space Cowboys, as they've been losing players. I know he wasn't on that team for long. Zach DeZenzo, who was just on their team and was dominant for them. He's with the Astros now. Look at Pedro Leon. He was a guy that's been helping their team out for a long time. He's with the Astros Major League team now. I know I'm mentioning position players, but look at the pitching side of it as well. Spencer Arrighetti is a guy who is now with the Astros. Is now with the Astros and was with AAA. You want to go look at Joey Loperfido, who I know is now with the Blue Jays. This Space Cowboys team, which is filled with talent, still is filled with talent, even though they have lost so much talent, whether it's been guys getting traded away like Joey Loperfido or Will Wagner, or it's guys like Pedro Leon and Zach DeZinzo and Spencer Arrighetti getting the call up to the Astros. So if Forrest Whitley then gets promoted for the Astros, they're taking some big hits here. So you need to add in someone good. Now Glenn Otto hasn't been very good in MLB. He did have a pretty solid season in 2022 with the Texas Rangers. With the Rangers in 2022, he went 7-10 with a 4.67 ERA, 27 games, 27 starts. So for a second-year guy, those numbers in 27 starts, not bad. He pitched 135 innings, 119 hits, 74 runs given up, 70 earned runs, 21 home runs, and had a total of 107 strikeouts. The batters that faced him had a batting average of 236. Look, those aren't great numbers, but for a second-year guy on a terrible team, as the Rangers were not too good in 2022, those aren't terrible numbers, but if you look outside of that 2022 season for him, things not good. 2023 with the Rangers, he pitched in 6 games. His ERA is 10.13. He pitched almost 11 innings, giving up 14 hits, 12 runs, all earned runs, with 11 strikeouts. 2021, the season before his solid 2022 season, his ERA was 9.26 with a record of 0-3, 6 games, 6 starts, pitched 23 innings, giving it 32 hits, 24 runs, 24 earned runs with 28 strikeouts. So if you look at the 2022 season, yes, that was a good year, but 2021, 2023, those are terrible years for him. But at the same time, even though he's had his up and downs, literally, he had a down year, he had an up year, and then he had a down year. I think he is someone who won't help the Astros major league team at all. But you import him. I believe if you import him to this AAA team, I think he's pretty good for them, for the Space Cowboys, because they're going to need something like that with if not win or you could say win. If we see Forrest Whitley get promoted. Look, the Astros pitching hasn't been bad, so it's not like they absolutely need it. There have been times where the Astros bring up guys from AAA where they absolutely need it. The pitching has been great, but I think they could make the pitching even better by bringing in Forrest Whitley. Look, I don't think there are a lot of guys in the bullpen that you could say, hey, if we option this guy when we bring Forrest Whitley back, they'll be fine. I think there's really only one guy in this bullpen right now I could say that you would look at and say, okay, that's fine. We'll send this guy down back to Sugarland and and bring back Forrest Whitley to give him a real chance in the major leagues. And I think that guy is Sean Dubin. I think outside of everybody else, I think that if you look outside of everybody else, most likely, I don't think that you're going to see anybody else from this bullpen get sent down in AAA. Caleb Ort and Brian King have been pitching too good in this bullpen. I think those are the two other candidates who would get sent down to AAA. Obviously, with the way that Caleb Ort and Brian King are pitching right now, they're not going anywhere. Then the only other guy you could think of is Sean Dubin. I know Sean Dubin's been all right at times, but I don't think he's been good enough to keep him on a roster or on a bullpen where Forrest Whitley has been absolutely killing it. Honestly, I think Sean Dubin's done some solid stuff this year. He's put in some good work, but I'd much rather have Forrest Whitley get his rightful shot in this Astros bullpen with the way he's been pitching in AAA than see Sean Dubin, who barely pitches at all. Let me know your thoughts on the Astros signing Glenn Otto to a minor league contract and potentially calling up Forrest Whitley. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out. Go Astros.